How good is Khvicha Kvaratskhelia actually? The short answer, exactly as breathtaking as those goosebumps say. The long answer, grab a coffee and settle in. 2 years ago, he cost about the price of a mid-table fullback. Today, he carries a €70 million price tag and headlines in two of Europe's grandest football cities. 1 month, he was little more than a grainy highlight reel from Georgia. The next, he was skate-stepping down the Naples waterfront, holding the Scudetto. And, blink again, he's teeing up chances for Paris Saint-Germain inside a floodlit Parc des Princes. But bright lights never guarantee trophies, and hype fades faster than yesterday's trending tweets. So, let's crank up the crowd noise, rewind the tape, and trace how Kvaradona conquered Serie A. Plugged directly into PSG's left flank, and now carries the weight of Parisian dreams into a Champions League final against Inter. A bargain walks into Naples. July 2022. The Neapolitan sun feels hotter than usual as coach Luciano Spalletti waves goodbye to Lorenzo Insigne and Dries Mertens. Two local icons in 2 months. Into that pressure cooker strolls a 21-year-old from Dinamo Batumi, signed for just €10 million. Local radio callers scoff. Georgian League? Nice story, but we need goals. 90 minutes into his Serie A debut, the skepticism has vanished. He produces a goal and an assist, follows it with a brace the next weekend, and suddenly the only name sung in the Curva B is Kvaradona, a nickname previously reserved for a fellow called Diego. By September, a street artist drags a ladder onto Via Santa Lucia and spray paints a 10-meter mural. Khvicha mid-dribble, Maradona's halo glowing behind him. By dawn, families queue for selfies. School kids trade stickers with his smiling face. Naples, a city that lives football in 4K emotion, has fallen head over heels once again. Cafe owners introduce a new pastry, Il Kvara, dusted with powdered sugar and hope. Instant spark, instant prizes. That explosive debut month earned him a Serie A's August Player of the Month. It was only the warm-up. Across 2022 to 2023, he stacked 12 league goals, 10 assists, and more shot-creating actions than any player in Italy. On Spalletti's whiteboard, he was simply a left winger, but on the green expanse, he was a shapeshifter. Sometimes an interior playmaker, sometimes a one-man fast break, always a problem defenders solved only by kicking fresh divots out of the turf. Kids outside the stadium copied his rubber band dribbles on dusty sidewalks. Analysts drooled over his progressive run numbers and XA charts. By May, he was a Serie A MVP and one half of a devastating partnership with Victor Osimhen. The Scudetto parade looked like a city-length festival. Blue smoke, confetti cannons, and one young Georgian perched on an open-top bus receiving love usually reserved for Neapolitan saints. Going global under the lights. Domestic dominance needed a European stamp. He obliged in the Champions League, twisting Trent Alexander-Arnold inside out during a 4-1 thrashing of Liverpool, pocketing UEFA's Young Player of the Season, and turning every scouting director's notebook into a shrine. Old-school romantics loved the chalk-on-boots wingcraft. Data gurus loved the through-ball frequency and shot-creating gains. Suddenly, Madrid, Munich, and Manchester executives were losing sleep, recalculating budgets and asking hosts at Sky Italia how to pronounce Kvaratskhelia without tripping over syllables. Shining through a Napoli slump. Fast forward to 2023 to 24, Spalletti leaves, form wobbles, and Napoli slip from cruise control into potholes. Yet one flare keeps burning. Despite tactical tinkering and managerial turnover, Kvara averages 5.4 progressive carries per 90, wins 58% of his dribbles, and curls in a 25-yard rocket that wins Serie A's Goal of the Month in May. By autumn of 2024, he joins Paulo Dybala atop the all-time list with 4 Player of the Month trophies in a mere 26 months of Italian football. When the engine coughs, the Georgian piston never stops firing. A beat born on concrete. Part of his magic is rhythm. Friends in Tbilisi still laugh about that battered concrete courtyard behind his apartment block, where goals were chalked on crumbling walls and the crossbar was a second-floor window ledge. Neighbors remember the thud-thud thwack of a ball hitting brick until night blurred vision. His father, Badri, joked that young Khvicha dribbled through holes in the air. Those street tempos remain in every shuffle and sudden burst. When he drops a shoulder in the 88th minute, you can almost hear the echo of leather on stone. January 2025, PSG pull the trigger. Paris Saint-Germain, still hunting that first Champions League crown after another last eight collapse, looked at their left flank and saw room for fireworks. An offer of 70 million euros pried Napoli's mural off the wall and hung it beneath the Eiffel Tower. Some wondered whether a mid-season move would mute his spark. Others feared he'd stale every headline in France within a fortnight. Coach Louis Enrique struck him straight into training drills and told reporters, "Players this brave don't need betting in periods." A Champions League surge. Knockout nights answered every lingering doubt. Bayern were dismissed, Manchester City outscored, and Arsenal buckled under a 3-1 aggregate featuring a Kvaratskhelia assist so disguised even the VAR team needed slow motion to spot it. Now, PSG face Inter in the 2025 final, and pundits label him the decisive difference. Paris finally possesses a left-sided creator who beats two men and still looks up for a pass. Broadcasters rerun his outside-of-the-boot delivery to Ousmane Dembele in Munich. Perfect pace, perfect angle, and the kind of moment that silences a stadium before it erupts. Why his game travels. Speed helps, sure, but the secret is change of tempo. He dribbles like a DJ dropping a beat. Lull defenders with two gentle taps, then explode past at 110 BPM. He's two-footed in the truest sense. Crosses with the left, shoots right, then reverses on the next action. Show him the touchline, he slips inside. Block lanes centrally. He sprints for the corner flag and still whips in a cross. Importantly, he embraces the dirty work. Unlike some flare-wide men, he tracks runners, contests aerial duels, and even claps teammates for mundane clearances. PSG didn't recruit a luxury item, they recruited a relentless one. Comparison with Parc des Princes alumni. Placed beside recent PSG-wide stars, he looks like a custom blend. Neymar created magic, but often drifted in defensive phases. Angel Di Maria delivered crosses galore, yet rarely slalomed through three markers. Kvaratskhelia fuses those profiles. He demands double coverage, yet still sprints 40 meters to recover possession. Analysts inside Camp de Loge say training intensity has risen. Playing alongside someone who never coasts forces standards up. In quiet moments, even Kylian-less PSG fans admit this is the most balanced front line they've seen since Ibrahimovic's era. Meeting hype and moving the goalposts. Mid-season signings usually fight for scraps of playing time. Khvicha stamped his initials on the starting 11 faster than kit staff could embroider shirts. France Football magazine already floats his name in early Ballon d'Or power rankings. If Paris lift the big-eared trophy on 31st of May, 70 million will look like grand larceny. He still speaks quietly to media. Short answers, sincere gratitude, but teammates say the inner fire burns all day. He lingers on training pitches, practicing weaker foot finishes until fitness coaches fake curfews. That humility mixed with hunger is golden. The willingness to chase excellence when the banners already wave your name. What comes next? If his current assist rate holds for a full season, he'll rival Europe's most creative playmakers. Add 3 or 4 extra league goals, and pundits will place him firmly in top 10 Ballon d'Or chatter. The biggest risk is overuse. Those stick-shift sprints tax hamstrings, and PSG's medical team must ration minutes wisely. Another variable is attacking hierarchy. If defenses overload his flank, he has to diversify. Shift central, pop up in half spaces, maybe even operate as a false 9 in emergencies. Early signs suggest he welcomes that challenge. Tactical meetings end with him sketching movements on the digital board. Two small gaps remain: finishing consistency. Occasionally he opts for power when a delicate clip would do. Decision-making. He sometimes beats one man too many instead of releasing early. Both are correctable, especially under Enrique's pass-and-move doctrine, and alongside veterans who'll bark at him when the simple option is best. From Neapolitan fairy tale to Parisian plan. Remember, Napoli invested $10 million, less than some clubs pay for an analyst suite. In return, they received a league title, continental recognition, and a resale fee 7 times greater. PSG, meanwhile, obtained a winger ready-made for high-stakes nights, a player whose first touch feels like electricity and whose work rate is pure diesel. Even skeptical French broadcasters concede. He hasn't just lived up to the hype, he's rewritten it on a larger canvas. Verdict: how good is Khvicha Kvaratskhelia? Already world-class, hurtling toward historic, he bends tactical systems to his rhythm, elevates teammates with each shimmy, and keeps composure under title pressure in 2 contrasting leagues. His numbers aren't padded in dead rubber fixtures. They arrive in statement matches that redefine club expectations. So next time someone asks, just how good is Khvicha Kvaratskhelia? Point to Naples' drought-ending Scudetto. Point to PSG's rejuvenated left wing, and watch replay after replay of right backs spinning like turnstiles. Then tell them straight. He's one of the finest wide men on earth, and perhaps the final ingredient Paris needed to smash its Champions League ceiling. Feel that buzz? It isn't hype. It's every fullback in Europe checking fixture lists, hoping their date with Khvicha comes later rather than sooner.